What is up, everybody, and welcome to CTW Postgame Show Live. I'm your host, Seamus Zarlingo. Alongside of me tonight, my co-host, Justin Lowe. Folks, we're back. The Boston Celtics are back. We are back. Unfortunately, the Winds, not really back.
Not
as
yet.
the Boston Celtics lose their season opener to the Philadelphia 76ers, 117-116. Not in overtime in regulation. This one did not go to overtime, but in regulation, the Boston Celtics, unfortunately, fall to the Philadelphia 76ers at home in their season opener at the TD Garden. The Boston Celtics now fall to 0-1 on the season. Joe Mazzulla losing his first season opener ever as Celtics head coach. This would be his fourth, right? His fourth. So he's 3-1. 3-1. 3-1 lead with those season openers. However, the Celtics dropped this one tonight, Justin. I have a feeling there are going to be some interesting takes in this post game tonight about what we saw in court. And just got to remind everybody, first game of the season, folks, first game of the season. Not to overreact, but I'm sure there's going to be some mass overreaction, not only from this game, but just from across the league in general. However, Justin, what do you think about this one tonight? The NBA really starting back up in general.
Yeah, you know, I'm just very grateful that the Celtics are back. Let's face it, it was a long off season, a lot of changes being made, but obviously we're coming in here and we're at home. The crowd was phenomenal tonight. The Celtics had opportunities to put this game away. They built an 11-point lead at one point. I believe, actually, the lead got up to about 13 or 14. Listen, uncertain. We saw the uncertainty. Who's going to have the ball in their hands when those winning opportunities happen? We're still uncertain, right? So I think I'm just excited for the Celtics to be back. And there's a lot to take away from this game. We're going to get into it. It's important not to overreact over the first game, win or loss. I think it's crucial because it's an 82-game season. It's a long season. We're going to go through winning streaks. We're going to go through losing streaks. We're going to go through significant ups, and we're going to go through some downs where we're probably going to put some players on the trade block, being the analysts / fans that we are. But it's important not to overreact over the first game, especially after so much change, right, Seamus? I'll give you some things that I liked because I'm sure we're going to get into things that we didn't like. I love the points in the paint tonight. 48 points in the paint. The Celtics attacked, and I love that. Some say they settled for some threes. I think the Celtics just missed a lot of wide open looks tonight. I don't even want to really address the 3-point shot in depth because that's just part of the identity of the Celtics team. As long as it's under Joe Mazzulla, it is what it is. As long as those shots are being generated and as long as those shots are great looks, I'm always going to support the 3-ball, no matter the attempt amount. So I really didn't have a problem with that. But the paint points tonight were so important, especially the Celtics forced to play small tonight against the Philadelphia 76ers. Luka Garza exiting in the first half due to concussion protocol, took a brutal blow to the neck area, which there was no call there. There was nothing. And then Neemias Queta fouling out in that fourth quarter, which was crucial because he was really lifting the Celtics in those final minutes. So that ended up hurting the Celtics, forcing them to play smaller than they wanted to. But I really like the paint points. I like the approach on the offensive end. It's the defense, Seamus, and that's going to be something that we're going to talk about quite a lot, not just throughout this show, but through the 82 shows that are coming up, or I should say 81 shows that are coming up, because I think you also have to just put it into perspective of, you know, not to make excuses, but like losing Holiday, Porzingis, and Horford, and you even throw Luke Cornett in there. You losing those guys in one offseason, that's a lot of defense missing. That's a lot of rim protection missing. And then perimeter defense as well with Horford and Drew Holiday. So the defensive end is something that I'm going to be looking at specifically all season long because I know this team can score. I know this team can produce offensively. But I'm really going to look at that defense. I thought the turnovers were solid tonight. The Celtics only had one first quarter turnover, and it was with seconds remaining. It was a just sloppy last minute last second turnover. I don't know what they finished with. I don't know if it was 11
The
turnovers,
turnover, yeah,
14.
I believe it was 11 turnovers, and might be going across the bottom of the screen right now. There are 11 turnovers on the bottom of the screen. Relatively low turnover number for the Celtics tonight.
Not bad considering one, a brand new group, and also the Celtics were turnover heavy in that preseason, right? So I know you try not to take too much stock in the preseason, but Celtics didn't face a lot of competition in the preseason, with all due respect, and they were turning the ball over quite a bit. So those were just some things I liked for the Boston Celtics. Seamus, I'll get into what I didn't like. I did not like, and I mentioned it, the defense as we welcome in Andrew Quinn and Griffin Aldrich
Hey,
in just a moment here.
we'll hold up. Let's take a look at the lead tracker
Oh, we
here
want to do
tonight
the lead tracker?
as we transition Andrew and Griffin into the show. The lead tracker, the Celtics, the sea of green, a little bit. It's seen there a little bit near the end of the game. However, not at the most important moment of the game. Griffin, don't tell me you're at Disney right now again. I mean, it sounds like you're at Disney
I'm
and
not.
far away. That's what it sounds like. But
I didn't
ultimately,
think we were
as
going to have
we
Griffin on after that.
well, oh wait, where'd they go? Oh wait, timeout, folks. Let's bring them back in here. We gotta bring these folks back in here. Here we go. There we go. Here's everybody. My
Welcome
goodness.
back,
What's
fellas.
up, fellas?
There we go.
How we doing?
Scoot over here a little bit.
Tough loss.
Griffin, you look sharp tonight.
Thank you.
You
It's
look-
all from Andrew. It's all from Andrew. I have to say, he said new season, new us, and I said, "You're right, Andrew. Let me go get a nice shirt."
It's all
What do
right,
we think
Justin. I
about the
see how it
game?
is.
What do we think?
I tried to put my best dress on as well, but give Griffin all the love. That's
Oh
all.
no.
Boy, we got
The
the
Franco
Franco
moment right off the bat. Are we kidding? Are we kidding ourselves?
It happens. You know,
It's game one. It's game one, folks. It's game one. That's what happens during game one.
Do the best. Oh, I tried to put that there.
Is that up with duct tape? Do we have a duct tape sponsorship yet?
No, not yet. Franco's working on it. Boys,
That's why he's off camera tonight. He's working on our sponsorships here.
Behind the scenes.
duct tape specifically.
But guys, above us here, Andrew, Griffin, tonight's game. What are your guys' thoughts on what transpired, particularly at the end, but also throughout?
Griffin, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I'll start it off. I mean, ultimately, a new team and the expectations of winning are still there because we're the Boston Celtics. But ultimately, you look at that and it wasn't as much of a gut punch as it usually is. Like usually after games like this, I'm in pain. I hurt for days after because I'm like, we should have won this game. But there's going to be mistakes, and you have to tackle the mistakes early. Obviously, no one wants to go out there and lose opening night. However, I would rather get the stupid mistakes out of the way early than have them come up later in the season. And those mistakes are going to come up later in the season. That's just how it is. It's going to be a developmental year, and there's going to be a lot of times we're going to be on the verge of banging our head against our desk, but it happens. And ultimately, you know, I saw a lot of good things, and Andrew and I were just talking about this, about Namias Keita and his efforts tonight. And we saw a lot of great things out of a lot of bad things as well. The shooting was not so hot for the Boston Celtics. However, they made up for it in the third quarter and then eventually just ran out of steam in the fourth quarter, and it was a tough one. It was a tough one to watch because it was a tough one when we were up by 11, and it looked like the Celtics could carry a strong lead. However, they got punched in the face by the rookie BJ Edgecombe, and he said, you know what? The Sixers are taking this one because him and Maxey just had a phenomenal game, and it's tough to stop them. You saw tonight that it was tough to stop those two, and I'm going to say the fact that they were unstoppable tonight, and the Boston Celtics did not have an answer for those two players, and that's the tough truth that had to be said, because you look at it, and there was no stopping them, and there wasn't another player that could step up and take the load off of their back, because you had guys like Jaylen Brown, who he had a wonderful night. I see you guys laugh. Don't laugh. Jaylen Brown still had a productive night. Derek White had a productive night, and Amias Queta had a productive night. But ultimately, you need all guys shooting on all cylinders. You need Anthony Simons to be shooting well, and you just all collectively need to be together. And I don't think the Boston Celtics quite have that chemistry down yet. I think give it a little longer into the season, and you're going to see that chemistry kind of clicking. But as of right now, they still have to work. It's a new team. You got to develop them, and they got to get their defense better. And there's just a lot of mistakes, but I'm happy to get them out early. And we're going to look forward, and we're going to get those mistakes out, and we're going to keep rolling. But what are your thoughts, Andrew?
Yeah, I think I'll go off with the defense aspect. Like, I'm with Justin. There was a lot of silly mistakes just in defensive principles from the Celtics. Like, I think there was one time in particular, you see Simons like completely double a drive in the corner. Yeah.
Oh.
Like that play to me, like what are you doing there? Because Pritchard has the capability to defend, and you're overhelping at that line, allowing for an easy three. It's like those defensive mistakes can't happen, and you got to have a little more of a understanding of just principles as a whole from the defensive perspective. And maybe Simons didn't learn defense because he's clearly overstunting there, but not a jab, just joke. But I think, and just playing as a collective unit on the defensive end and really relying on each other and not letting, inside drives. And Jaylen Brown had a weak closeout at the end of the game where he's closing out. He's closing out he's trying to force him middle, but he decided to close out to the offensive player's like right foot. So you're not at all forcing him middle. Like, it's those little things that need to be cleaned up and really help us kind of, win the margins, because this team is a team that you're going to have to win those margins.
Right.
Like, you're going to have to win every category. Like, you can't just outperform a team. You can't just offensively just be so good that you're just those margins aren't going to come into play. Like, the margin for ever is a lot smaller this year for this team. And so every aspect needs to be a little more fine-tuned, and there needs to be a little more attention to the details.
I think you have to win those margins differently. Seamus, sorry, I just want to touch on that. I think you have to win them differently. Again, Seamus, I'm killing us to bring back this segment, the film segment, because I could pick about 5 plays specifically tonight if I went back and went through the game footage and screenshot. I could pick about 5 different plays where the Celtics overhelped on defense, and I do think that those types of mistakes are very fixable. And I think, again, I hate to make the excuse. Saying it's a whole new team. I've been saying it for the last 5 games, the 4 preseason games in this one. But at the same time, those miscommunications and those overhelp situations will be resolved over time when these guys are playing with each other enough, and they know their comfortabilities of each other, right? So
for sure.
I think, knowing that Pritchard doesn't need help on that Pritchard can withhold himself, and same thing with Derek White or Jaylen Brown when he's matched up on a big like Joel Embiid. Like, over time, these guys will get used to playing defense with each other, and they'll realize, okay, I need to stay home here. I don't have to help, because that killed the Celtics tonight. You could definitely tell defensively that this was the Celtics' first game with each other. First game, I understand we played preseason, but Seamus mentioned it in the preseason. No starters played for any team. We got a glimpse of Toronto starters in that final game. We got a glimpse of them, but throughout the 4 games, we really had no competition to really kind of put into perspective of, okay, this is what we are, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to play. We didn't really get that. We were playing G League teams. You guys know, up in Maine, you got, if anything, you two, being Griffin and Andrew, got more footage in notes to take to the main Celtics to cover the main Celtics, and you do to cover the real Celtics. That's what I took from the preseason. So I think just going off your point defensively of the overhelping and stuff, that'll be fixed over time, and it's very fixable. But at the same time, I do think that is the lack of play with each other and the lack of knowing each other's abilities. I think that could play a part.
A level of trust too, right?
Right.
Like just a level of trust and
Right.
just knowing, hey, Pritchard, you got that. Like you're good. Like, and that comes with time and experience with being on each other's team. And it's really like you said, it's fixable. It's Joe Mazzulla's going to go to the film room. He's going to say, hey, don't do this. Let's fix this. He's going to nail it down in practice. They're going to rep it out, and they're just going to learn from the mistakes. So that's definitely, it's not something to be so afraid of. And to be honest, like from an effort standpoint, and you can go at me or not, like I think defensively there was effort on that end, at least from my perspective. Like I think that there were signs of diving on loose balls, of contesting shots and working together in that aspect. So
I think the effort was there.
it's
The execution
right,
is not.
right.
I think
So
that's
it's
how I would put that.
so I'd rather at this point of the season have a high level of effort and then work on the details than not have any effort. Because if you need effort before details matter at all, in my opinion.